Through crime and crusade, our labor has been stolen. We've been robbed of our freedom. We've been held down and beholden. So tell me, who will stand with us? That was an excerpt from the new album from Dropkick Murphys, the American Celtic punk band who just dropkicked a new album into our midst, appropriately titled For the People. And today, we will be reviewing it, looking at the political connotations found within, seeing how this album relates to the culture of resistance, because of course the wall behind me is completely comprised of protest music, revolutionary music, and now we will see how For the People relates to that culture. Like and subscribe if you like the vibe, check out the Patreon for exclusive videos, check out some of our other videos talking about said protest music, and leave a comment down below if you have listened to this new album from Dropkick Murphys. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite line? What's your favorite album from their discography? So starting off with the first song, Who Will Stand With Us? This is an excellent anthem for the working class person, talking about the value of our labor, what the average everyday person contributes to this society. We of course are the ones who build the buildings. We are the ones who volunteer for war. And yet, we are also the ones who continuously get shit upon. More often than not, those in our own society, those at the top, those with the wealth, those with the power. And they are the ones who always try to pin us against each other, even though they themselves, the bosses and the bankers, never gave their share of any blood, sweat, or tears. And we have felt this pain, the song says, in every country, every century. We feel the tyrant's sword or the henchman's boot, all for the rich man's gain. Because of course in their endless quest for money and power, they stomp us down with great disdain beneath their false god's banner. And while the working class people are the ones that fuel the engine of the economy of this country, they are the ones who yank the chain. And those golden few are laughing at us because we always take the bait, we're always at each other's throats, despite the fact that while all of this is happening, whether it's the culture war, the left or right paradigm, we are continuously fighting amongst ourselves, all while the wealth gap increases. So who will stand with us if not ourselves, the working class people? Absolutely love that song. It is such a good anthem for the time period that we find ourselves in. But now moving on to the next song, Longshot. This is more of a reflection on the dreams we wish to enact, saying that it's a long shot, that while some people do get lucky, say with the lottery or with their shamrock on their shoulder, some people just are naturally born with good karma. They're just born in the right place at the right time. But for most of us, our dreams are not attainable, and therefore we have to settle for less. And for the chorus, it says, have you seen the man give his time? Have you seen the man work for a dime? Because that will be you giving your time, working for low pay. Again, living a life that is not geared towards pursuing your dreams or your ambitions. And then the song poses the question, is it even possible to change the hand that you're dealt in life? And the song concludes by saying, yeah, it is possible if you keep your eyes open, because you never know when fate might yield in your favor. So dream big as possible, and then you will see where things fall. Skipping the next two songs, we arrive at the track Bury the Bones, which is all about people power. Again, how the people at the top use division to keep the people bickering amongst themselves. How the crooks bully and lie their way into power, and then they leave the door open for their cronies to come in and steal the keys to the vault. Our vault. Again, they spread hate to divide us amongst the weak, amongst the weary, amongst the marginalized, and that we should resist, we should plot, plan, strategize, organize, mobilize, because the people must have the power if the world is meant to survive. Now for the next track, Sooner Remove Them First, or Sooner Unalive Them First. This song takes a hard look at how we treat and speak with ourselves, mostly as it relates to our inner dialogue, because we obviously wouldn't put up with the bullshit we tell ourselves if it was someone else saying it to us, because of course we are the worst critics of ourselves, we know ourselves the best, so there's a lot to pull from when it comes to our personality, our past, our shortcomings, but if anyone else was saying this shit back to us, then we would obviously not allow it, and that that is more or less what this song is about, so hey, be kinder to yourself. Now the next song, Feigning for the Lies, is all about how we are hooked on the falsehoods that are perpetually fed to us, as we ourselves are actually just completely unsatisfied with the life that we're living. The kids are running away, help is not coming, the guns are firing while the bombs are falling, and in this world of outrage and sound bites, knowledge is the first casualty. It's all just one big manufactured distraction algorithm. Because we are so divided with the information we consume, we are completely isolated within these information silos. They're so radically different that we are losing our common perception of the world, and that's a problem. And that brings us to the final track of this review with the song, The Vultures Circle High. So this one is all about someone being laid to rest. There's all these pleasantries being shared about their lives, about their accomplishments, but in reality, this person was actually quite corrupt. Quite wicked. They did a lot of horrible things despite their eulogies just whitewashing them in glory. And I think overall that's a pretty interesting take on how a lot of people, when they die, even though they could be like the worst person, like say Henry Kissinger, they still are given a funeral where of course people only talk about how great they are, all the things they did during their life, only cherry picking the positives because of course naturally that is what we do when someone dies. But not necessarily everyone is deserving of that, am I right? Looking at you, Henry Kissinger. Looking at you. And that concludes the review of this new album from Dropkick Murphys. The album... For the People. My two most recommended songs from this album would be Who Will Stand With Us and Feigning for the Lies. Again, Who Will Stand With Us is just this great working class anthem, and Feigning for the Lies really highlights the division found in our country, how we are pitted against each other for some of the dumbest shit. Again, all while those at the top, those with the wealth, those with the power are literally laughing at us. And that we need to resist, we need to protest, we need to organize if we are to clap back against this system that obviously is not serving us. So in terms of scoring, again, this metric is completely revolved around how much an album relates to the culture of resistance. And this album, For the People, I think actually less than half of the songs technically relate. But there is partial credit for the song Longshot, because of course you should dream big, and even though there are a lot of things stacked against you when it comes to attaining your dreams, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep trying, as we try to fix ourselves and the system, just like the song Sooner Unalive Them First, again just talking about how we treat ourselves, the shit that we say to ourselves with that inner monologue, and how we just need to be kinder and more accepting of ourselves. So they do still get partial credit for those songs, but at the end of the day, the score that I am giving this album is a solid B and 84%, because the songs that do relate to the culture are quite excellent. They do have a lot to say, and they say it eloquently. So let me know what you guys thought of this review or this album down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like the vibe. Check out the Patreon account for exclusive videos, and definitely check out some of our other videos talking about protest albums. But until then, guys, stay well, stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you on the next one. Later.